Hello YouTube, hello Facebook, hello you, how are you? I hope you've had a really good week. It is Tuesday, Tuesday, December 3rd where I am, and it is time for me to do my weekly spread. And if you would like to witness that and check it out, you are more than welcome because I'm inviting you to this space. So if you're here, hi, thank you so much for coming. And this is really just going to be babbly, so I apologize in advance. So usually I do these on Mondays, but last week and this week I've had a lot on Mondays, so that hasn't been possible. But I'm still trying to keep this consistent because consistency is hard for me. So I am fighting this tooth and nail. Anywho, I thought I would quickly start by recapping last week's. There's a chance I might get interrupted because I am recording this on stolen time while my daughter is happy in her playroom. So last week I accidentally wrote this in this week's slot, but as you can see I decided to expand my writing. Last week I had as the spirit most present 10 of Swords, the Destroyer, and I took this as a sign to be really discerning with what I was doing and try and look through my life and see if there were things that I needed to put down and just kind of take a step back from. And also I was considering to stop carrying certain stock in my market stalls. So I have made the decision to stop carrying certain items. I've also been trying to make the decision to stop expending as much energy as I normally do on certain things, because they're not really assisting me in getting to where I want to be. But I haven't fully made up my mind there. And I'm trying to think of any other kind of endings that came to a head over the week. I don't think there were too many. Although I know I had a sudden realization midweek and I did not write it down and I don't remember what it was. Part of me thinks that it's been a rough couple days, but part of me thinks that I wonder if that is me needing to just let go easier of things when I can see them leaving my life. So not only is it, just a reminder that all things come to an end, but also, saying goodbye to things makes way for new energy to come in as well. So, yeah, I think I'm always in sort of a review mindset. Not always, but I try to periodically review and see what old things need to go, what new things need to come in. But it can be hard when you're just kind of struggling with day-to-day stuff and just getting caught up in life, Card number 2 last week was what was in my highest interest to prioritize. I had the 6 of Orbs, or the Giver. And yeah, I kind of took that as a sign to streamline my stuff for the expo over the weekend and prioritize connections and balance and reciprocal energy exchange. And I think that went pretty well. I did meet a lot of people at the expo that I normally wouldn't have met before and had a few service or reading swaps, which was cool. And yeah, I probably went above and beyond on more than a few readings, I would say, where I forgot to use a timer. So I think I helped some people get a little clarity on what they wanted clarity on. And definitely had a comment of, I feel lighter about this, before people stood up and went on to the next thing they wanted to see. So I'll take that as a good sign. Card number 3 was what I needed to prepare for, and that was 3 of Chalices or the Kindred. And last week I took that to mean I would be getting to, really catch up with my friends and family this week after 2 or 3 really busy weeks. Oops, I didn't mean to close that. And that is pretty much exactly where I've landed. So I would say for a forecast, that was pretty cool. And I don't think I had too many unexpected things pop up out of this reading that I should have, or that I could have picked up on easier. But yesterday I had something interesting happen, which was our weekly 1-card call for the Deep Dive Tarot and Oracle group. And the card we pulled yesterday was the Page of Swords, and no, Page of Wands. Page of Wands. I'm whiting out last week's, so I can go ahead and use it for today, because I'm going to run out of pages otherwise. But the card we pulled was Page of Wands, and my daughter had a pretty yucky seizure yesterday, and she's started to have seizures again after a very long stint of not having any. I think 5 years was the last time she'd had a seizure. So, a bit poopy, but I'm pretty sure when I was listening to M.M. Moline and Susie Chang on the Fortune's Wheelhouse podcast, I happened to be listening to the Page of Wands episode a few days ago, like when I was going to and from the expo, maybe on Sunday. And I'm pretty sure M.M. Moline talked about the hexagram being thunder, thunder, or thunderclap for this. I tried to look it up in the book, but I didn't see it. I've lost my pen as I've been talking to you. And there it is. Okay, got the pen, got the deck. But I thought that was interesting, and I will need to go back and listen to that episode again, because if I'm correct and I'm not getting it conflated with another card, that would be an interesting interpretation for my own personal sort of database of meanings, that possibly Page of Wands might mean seizure activity in my daughter. But we'll see. I mean, that was a one-off. If it happens again, that would be interesting, But who knows? Epilepsy is a shitty thing, and I wish we knew more about brains and why it happened. I'm just smelling the oil that Benebell puts. I like to smell it every time I open the deck, because it's just lovely, and it smells yummy. Okay, I'm going to do quick shuffles and think about what I need to know this week. So far, so good. As I'm recording this, I am watching my daughter on a camera in her playroom, because we are now back to watching her like a hawk for seizure activity. So it's not a fun place to be, but it is sort of our normal at the moment. Might put those to the side. Okay. I think that feels good. Now I like to cut this into 3 piles and run my hand over it to see if any of them sort of give me a zing of energy and whether they want to come out and talk to me. It's the left. Sometimes I don't even know why I do that, because more often than not it is the left. So we'll go card number 1, so the spirit most present, the Ebony Shield, Sanctum of Treasures. So that's a queen, and I'm going to guess that's the Queen of Orbs. Oh boy. Card number 2. I don't think I've had the Queen of Pentacles. Card number 2 is the Tower. Material and spiritual colliding. Well, hello, Tower. Nice to see you here. Welcome. And then prepare for is the Dynasty, the 10 of Orbs. I'm pretty sure I have pulled the Dynasty before. I don't think I've pulled the Tower. I know I've read about the Tower because this serpent or snake that appears in this card actually appears in, I think, at least 2 other cards. And I know I've read that part of the book, and I know there is some significance to that. I don't know if that's a nebula or what up in the the right top corner. But we will figure out what this means, or I will figure out what this means, and you get to listen to me babble. So card number 1 most present is the Ebony Shield / Queen of Orbs. Card number 2, what is in my best interest to prioritize, is the Tower. And card number 3, which is what to prepare for. And that's the 10 of Orbs. Dynasty. Well, hopefully that means this week I'm just going to be dealing with adjusting, getting back into home mode after 3 or 4 weeks of being really shaken up by a lot of adjustments and like temporary change, seasonal work that I was doing. I did not get my book of maps down before this call, so you are hearing me stand up and turn around to my bookcase. But let's see. I can see my daughter is almost done going through all her toys, which means I have limited time. She's pretty systematic. Oh, wait. So I'm going to bookmark this one. We'll come back to that. And we will head right over to... Oh, no. The shields would be after this, I think. So the way Benebell breaks this book up is she does the majors, and then she does the aces, 2s, and 3s, and then she does the court cards. So I have a feeling we've hit the court cards. Now I just have to find the shields. If you have noticed that my voice sounds a bit funny, I have talked very much in the past 4 days, and I'm not used to doing that, but I have taken some COVID tests today, because we haven't had COVID as a family yet, and I was the only person who masked at the entire Body, Mind, Spirit Expo, which was a bit disappointing considering it's supposed to be a holistic health expo. And yes, I am going to sound a bit salty there because we are still in the middle of a pandemic and people like to pretend that we're not. So If you disagree with that, this is not the YouTube channel for you, and I wish you well, but you can stop watching now. Okay, Ebony Shield. Here we go. Ebony Shield. So, Sanctum of Treasures. We are in the Northwest Africa meeting Dia, warrior queen of the Amazigh. I think that's how you would say that. In the 7th century. So this was a prophetess on the Barbary Coast, present-day Northwest Africa. So she's a soothsayer sorceress. And was one of the greatest prophetesses of all time. Is credited with changing the course of history for her people. And reigned for 35 years, wow, before dying in battle near Tabarka, Tunisia. That's really impressive. So she is the power and authority of Earth. And this is the Earth that protects, safeguards, nurtures, and defends. And she's likened to the rabbinic concept of Shekinah, or a dwelling place, or is that Shekinah? I guess it depends on where you're from. A dwelling place where divinity is present. The Queens and the Spirit Keepers Tarot deck are sanctuaries that await you, where you will be safe and personally protected by the guardian spirit of that sanctuary. Personally, I feel like this is my mom's spirit coming through a little bit, because she was a Taurus, and I had a sign from her on Sunday morning before I went into the expo, which was really cool. So I wonder if she's still around. And maybe I need to think about, whether in this deck the Queen of Orbs is her significator. But I'll have a think about that and dig into the astrology a bit. So it says, when the ebony shield appears to you, it's a gateway to a palace built like a fortress to enjoy many grandeurs and wonders here, where Queen Dia, I hope I'm saying that right, will teach you all that you need to know to manifest prosperity and success in your life. The ebony shield is a road opener and acts as the talisman you need to clear paths toward the opportunities you've been seeking. The Sanctum of Treasures is a hub connected to every place you aspire to go. But before you head in any one direction, you stay a moment in this palace to concretize your plan. The waxing moon in the night sky is an omen that you will have. So there's a waxing moon. The waxing moon in the night sky is an omen that what you have now will grow and multiply into abundance. In mundane readings, this key is about business development, financial planning, or building the foundations of financial security. In matters of the heart, the Ebony Shield advises you to do what will maintain the stability and the values of your personal domain. This is the highest vibrational frequency of industrious productivity, orderliness, and personal fortification. Well, it is going to be a week of just getting back to basics at home and getting everything sort of humming along nicely again. So that makes sense. Maybe it's not my mom, but we shall see. I'll have some more thinks. I do need to do a lot of work this week. I have my business, so I've got a reading to do for someone today, a delivered reading, so I'll need to record that later. And I want to get some blog posts up and get stuck back into my Drop 'em 78 Tarot Challenges cards, tarot challenge cards, because that wraps up at the end of the month, and I am behind, and I would like to at least briefly touch on all the cards. I haven't been able to keep up, but that's okay. So, interesting spirit that will be most present with me this week. I could use that strength and that sanctuary to help focus my thoughts around all of that. Let's find out what the Tower is all about in this deck. So the Tower here, here we go. The Tower, prevailing energy is purging, release, destructive power of light. Power cultivated is the power to defeat, the power to rebuild. The attribute manifested is demolish, oust, dismantling the obsolete. And the card description here is, a Trishula descends down upon the blasted tower. So I'm assuming that is that style of trident, the trident of Shiva, which in mythos was used to sever the first head of Ganesha. The Trishula is also symbolic of the Holy Triune. So I am just quickly scanning here. It says the Kalpa Vrishka is the wish-fulfilling world tree in East Asian lore, found particularly in Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism. While there are many differing accounts of the wish-fulfilling world tree, in one story it is said to have 3 main branches or trunks, thus resembling the trident. And you can see this again in the 9 of chalices. So bolts of lightning strike the tower, which begins to crumble, but also it strikes to break the chains that link the tower to the chains of the demon from key 15. So that will be the devil. Here it is revealed that the demon's chains bind the material tower, not the lovers. I might quickly go to the devil just to have a look at that. So here's the devil card, and you can see chains kind of going off to the side. So I wonder if we have a look at the card before the devil, if we'll see those there as well. No. That is interesting, though. Okay. Going back to the tower. It says, note that the serpent's tail of the demon is still wound around the base of the tower. On the columns of the tower are inscribed the glyphs for Mars, the alphabet letters for key 4, which is Aries, then key 13 and Scorpio. So that's the Emperor, and key 13 would be Death. And finally, key 20, Fire, which would be the Sun? No, Judgment. Judgment. Along the walls are inscribed, along the vertical, Lux Mentis Lux Orbis, light of mind, light of the world. Here is a monstrosity of genius built by the combination of the highest intellect and ego. So that'll be the tower. The battle axe dripping with blood is a talisman. The blood on the blade symbolizes past experience, which must now be utilized and applied to the situation. And it goes on to talk about the battle axe and what's on that, and also the Helix Nebula, which is in the sky, called the Eye of God. It's a coil-shaped planetary nebula in Aquarius. So the sun, when it nears the end of its life cycle, will become a planetary nebula. So when we look at that, we're looking at a dying star. But we're also seeing the elements of life in its parts before its next incarnation. So, yeah, Benebell has put heaps into this card. And I will spend some time reading through that. But the card meaning here, she says, I glibly call the Tower card the God Says No card. In a mundane reading, it can simply mean you are constructing your work in the wrong direction and it's time to stop, rethink what you're building, and revise. In a more spirituality-based reading, the Tower can be much needed warning sign that something in your fortress is vulnerable and at risk of harm. The Tower card can also portend to a trial that will test your soul. Well, that sounds like fun, doesn't it? Yeah. Sounds like I do need to do more thinking about what I'm currently doing. What else does this say here? She talks about the story of Prometheus and Lucifer. She talks about when the card appears, there's dogma to be dismantled, a previously enjoyed security that may get upended because it was never built on a solid foundation to begin with. Or is it your own knowledge and intellect that will be causing you more harm than good? When the Tower appears in your reading, the destroying angel is present. This angel who will tear down that which have been obstacles in your path, dismantling that which was never built upon strong foundations. The destroying angel does what needs to be done, but you couldn't bring yourself to do. There are many growing pains, but catharsis comes once the debris has been cleared. There is a lot to this card here, so I will come back and read all of this also. Yep, that tracks so far. More change needed. So change is not over yet. More change is needed, and clearing away the stuff that doesn't really help, that isn't working anymore, and not trying to cling too hard to things that need to change. So I will see what that's about and come back to you on that next week. I hope it's not a huge change that I'm not expecting, but stay tuned. We shall see what that's about. Preparing for the dynasty, which is the 10 of Orbs. And I think that's the last card in the deck. There we go. 10 of Orbs, the dynasty. Let's see here. So it says, I'll zoom in so you can see the card while I'm reading. It says, the setting is Manden Korufaba, which is the Mali Empire in West Africa in the 14th century, Timbuktu. And she talks about the structures here being made of mud brick supported by horizontal logs of wood that jutted from the outer facades. Or facades. I'm pretty sure it's facades. My brain wants to go both. But she talks about this being sort of the golden era of political, philosophical, and intellectual advancement, predating Europe's Age of Enlightenment by 3 centuries. She talks about women being more important than the men, extremely beautiful, and the women were granted more power and freedoms than the women from any of its surrounding cultures and societies. And whoever was writing about it, a traveler, remarked disapprovingly of how the king's daughters strutted around the palace arrogantly and without humility. Like a man. Oh, imagine that. Interestingly, that she's chosen men to actually be pictured on the card, though, despite making that comment about women having more power and freedoms than any other surrounding culture. Anywho, so following the both Waite and Crowley, the tens are arranged in the configuration of the 10 Sephirot from the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, where the orbs are connected by the Arya paths. And she talks about the flower here. The point of Da'ath is a 5-petal Acrodocarpus Acrodocarpus monody flower, which is a rare yellow savanna blossom native to the region of Mali. Historically, divining or dowsing for fresh water sources was linked to the flower because where the yellow flower could be found growing, an underground water source was near. So that flower symbolizes fertility of the earth and the promise of prosperity. Which is... So basically this is just a really generous and just society that she's chosen to picture here, and prosperous. And then she talks about the downfall, or how it was overtaken multiple times in the 15th or by the 15th century, and now, the full glory of what that place would have looked like has been lost to time, which is what we can see in the background here. Oh no, that's not what we can see in the background. So she is talking about this. But the background, she's saying that's the hand of Fatima, or the hand of Miriam, which is an iconic rock formation in the region, resembling fingers reaching for the heavens. And then she talks about the stones in the arch here, and the etchings are from Crowley's Thoth 10 of Discs. And the center stone is a mystic pyramid of Mercury's numerology, 8 for Hod, which is ruled by Mercury, 64, which theosophically reduces to 10. And to the pyramid's left is the hexagram, and to its right an octagram. So I'm just looking for that. I'm not seeing it, but I am also trying to do this on camera. So I should be patient with myself. To the hexagram's left is the Hebrew letter for Beth. Okay, so that must be the hexagram, and that must be the octagram, because that looks like the Hebrew letter. And to the right is the John Dee's Enochian letter Pe, or P. I'm not sure which that is, which would be this one. To Beth's left is Caduceus, formed from the 3 mother letters Aleph, Mem, and Shin. So that must be that. And to the right of Pe is the Hebrew name for Archangel Raphael. So that must be this. And then on either side are the octograms encircling gold coins of prosperity. So that must be this. And near the middle of the two archway pillars is the hexagram hexagon composite, which I think would be these two. But anywho, the primordial influence of this card, so astrologically, are the Magus, and numerologically, the Magus, the Wheel of Life, and the Warrior. And the card meaning is a collective power that fortifies a social unit, and in particular, one where there is a parent and child relationship or mentor to the mentee. This card can denote inheritance and successorship matters within a family or institution. This card usually comes up for me when I am going to be having a lot of family time. So it's not surprising to me that I should prepare for more family time. We are heading into the Christmas holiday here in New Zealand. I don't celebrate Christmas personally, but my partner's family does, and they like to do all the things, gift giving and cooking for each other, and we have put up a Christmas tree for our daughter to enjoy. And I do like to decorate for Christmas, even if it is in the wrong season here in the Southern Hemisphere. If it was in June or July, I'd be much happier. But it's going to be a hot week here this week. Anyway, I digress. So, this also talks about, there's an underbelly to the dynasty here. And although it marks a pinnacle of material wealth, abundance, and economic success, that success runs the risk of going inert if the pinnacle is not put to productive use toward a greater good. As Crowley notes in the Book of Thoth, there is the inner meaning of the card is that you must pay it forward. So after you've been blessed by the Lord of Wealth, you must put the blessing to productive use in a manner that enriches the family, the community, the nation. Carnegie establishes a library. Rockefeller endows research, writes Crowley, simply because there's nothing else to do. In modes of succinct fortune-telling, the dynasty card denotes home, the literal dwelling of the place of a family and family matters. In the Rider-Waite-Smith Ten of Pentacles, the illustration is described by Waite as a man and woman beneath an archway, which gives entrance to a house and domain. Here I've broadened the depiction to two heads from two generations beneath an archway. So that's why she's chosen two men, I think. Which gives entrance to a thriving and advanced city-state, and one built in harmony with nature rather than being in competition with it. Likewise, the meaning of the dynasty expands the meaning of family and material interdependency. The Ten of Orbs is the final card of the 7 lower realms in the minor arcana, so it symbolizes a sum total. To mark its significance, the whole figure of the Tree of Life is depicted on the card. That depiction is found in both the Rider-Waite-Smith and the Thoth to convey the significance of this card's positioning. The dynasty absorbs and is the sum total of all the work that has been done from the beginning. Therefore, in it is drawn the very figure of the Tree of Life itself. So that was all from Crowley. Just as the Ten of Orbs is the final card in the 7 lower realms, Key 21, the Tarot World card, is the final card in the final serpentary of the majors, and the 3 of Orbs is the final card in the 7 upper realms. Thus, these 3 keys, when linked, reveal the secrets to high achievement and greatness. So, I think I'm going to have an overabundance of family time. It would be lovely to have an overabundance of money and being able to give back in really significant ways. But we are not in a position where we can give back much monies right now. because I'm not working full time and my market work is not bringing in that much money. I mean, it's enough to get by, but we are not. Our coffers are not overflowing right now. But I do think there are ways that I can give back to my community and back to my friends and family that don't necessarily have to be in large sums of money in order to make an impact. So I'm going to be looking for practical ways that I can help people in the next, few weeks and what that might look like. I also think this is just me preparing to get back in the swing of things with my daughter, and I have been really wanting to spend some more time with her. The past few weeks have been really busy, and I just want to have some good quality time with her and get back to seeing her progress in a few areas and just spend some time with her. So it is very much a home and homemaking sort of few weeks coming along, and we usually do spend most of the holiday and Christmas break here at our house, puttering around the house and making things nicer so that our house is a place that we enjoy. I don't think we have any big projects this year, although I need to talk to my husband about that this week. That was on my list of things to do, to see, if we have any projects that align together or if we want to work on a big project like cleaning up a certain area of the house together. But it will be a time of homemaking and spending time with family. So I think that's probably how I would interpret this one. Would be really nice if I won Lotto. That would be awesome. But I doubt that will happen because I actually have to play to win. Anyway, that's probably where I will stop this for now. I hope that you all have a very lovely week. And if you watch this, I'm so sorry about how badly it's been. My brain is a bit scattered today. But yeah, I'm going to spend some time writing all that up and rereading those sections now that I'm not trying to read out loud on camera, and seeing what else, I can digest and look at. But I might see you back here next week if you decide to join me again. If you don't, and this was just a one-stop watch, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, take care. Thanks. Bye.